To Irish Football Fan TV. This is our match preview. If you haven't already, check out our opposition preview. We got the lowdown from Stephen from Footy Hellas pod, and he gave us the lowdown from the Greek point of view. But now we are focusing mainly on our point of view. The match preview: Ireland against Greece over in Athens. I'm joined by Ryan Brennan. Ryan, how are you on this fine sunny evening?
And I'm good, enjoying the weather while it lasts. I know it won't be for much longer, I'd say.
Yeah, well, that's what we thought the other day when it rained, and then it came back to being really, really nice and probably nicer. So who knows? I would just say long may it continue and embrace it while we have it. It's that leaving cert weather, that comes around only once at this time of year, I think. So yeah, look, let's embrace that. But look, we're on to more important things. We're on to the football side of things, and it's edging closer now to Friday. The nerves are kind of picking up now, and I suppose excitement and nerves is a good contingent of Irish fans gone over. And yeah, I suppose how are you feeling if you look at kind of our Irish players coming off the back of the season? I know a lot of them have been finished up a while now. In terms of their season in the championship and stuff like that, but just how are you feeling going into this game? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Do you think we can pull off an away victory?
I suppose it's a bit of both. I think, to be honest, when you look at it, our away record doesn't be the best, and I think at the same time, when you compare and contrast to how we finished off with France, we lost 1-0, but it was a really strong performance, and obviously the whole of the Aviva Stadium got behind them. The only kind of fear I have is that it's, as I said, it's away from home, and the record doesn't be the best there. I was saying to kind of a couple of friends of mine was that, like, this group is so strong that we need to make sure that we just every other game outside of France and the Netherlands that we have to win them, including Greece away, which is I found when I looked at the fixtures was the biggest challenge. But no, overall, like, I'm confident, but part of me is hope more overtaking the confidence.
Yeah, it's heart over head more so. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think look, I think this time around, we look at some of our players who maybe you're kind of thinking might be able to do something. Like Mark Sykes has come in and done well as a fullback for Bristol City this season, and he had a strong end to the season. And I know, look, the season has finished a while now. You've got Jamie McGrath, who finished the season in good form as well, scoring a lot of penalties and just doing well with Dundee. He's gone back to Wigan now. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him this summer. Then you got Will Smallbone, who looked quite well against Latvia in the game we played there. And then up front, you got Mikey Johnson, who has lit up a couple of games in the since he's been registered to play for Ireland. I would say. I think he's done quite well. He's shown flashes of brilliance. He's starting to do well again in Portugal. Seemed to got a bit of confidence from his Irish debut and really took that into his club form then. And then of course you've got Evan Ferguson, who got off the mark against Latvia, done well against France as well. And I think as a whole, our team did well against France. And for me, it gives me a bit of confidence going into this game, thinking that we can get a result, but we need to be absolutely at our best. And I don't think we can afford any sort of mistakes. And I don't think we can afford. We need to have a perfect performance to get the win, I think.
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly when you look back through recent campaigns, whether it be the World Cup qualifiers or the Euros, like, there's a lot of times where you look at the home games and we put in a great performance against these big teams, and it gives you that confidence. And then time and time again, you see once we go away from home, or might be the game after that, it's straight back down to earth. Then, and that's what I'm afraid will happen. But like I just said, there's a lot of players there in form. Evan Ferguson is just going from strength to strength. I know he had the big injury coming towards the end of the season where he missed big games, and including an FA Cup at Wembley, an FA Cup semi final. But like you said, yeah, like Will Smallbone, I say he was unbelievable against Latvia. Really lit it up, and that was like his first game for at senior level for us. You had like the likes of Mikey Johnson, who I think a lot of fans would probably be in agreement that probably should have saw a lot more of him, particularly in the France game, where these players are they're coming into form but they're not getting played. And a bit of it, I think, might be boiling down to Stephen Kenny's being a little bit biased, where he's seeing these players coming into form, but he's still kind of sticking with the same lads. Like the likes to say, for example, Jeff Hendrick and stuff like, where he's being a little bit biased in his selection. He's sticking with the same lads, and we need to see, I think, a slow, maybe, or maybe even a quicker now integration of these lads who are showing the form and can show they have what it takes to perform at these levels. Like if they're putting in a performance against France, they're capable of putting in a performance against anyone really in the group, particularly. Like I think we probably all would have been in agreement to say that the likes of Mikey Johnson should have gotten more minutes against France. Smallbone should have seen the pitch, and he didn't. I think there's other players in there like Michael Obafemi only came on with like less than 5 minutes to go, and he really made a good impact. And then you have the other side of the camera. We're going to miss the likes of Ogbene, that he did really well in the games. He doesn't really put in too many bad performances from watching the games and stuff. But as you said, like this is it's Greece, and it's not like a disrespect to Greece by any means, but this is a game we should be winning if we want to have a chance of going to Germany. We need to be getting 6 points out of these two games. And whilst on paper it might seem easier said than done, we know, watching Ireland over the years and the away games particularly, they're not easy by any means. So we really will need all the star players, and we'll need them performing at the best they can on Friday.
Yeah, well, I think, on a more positive note of players who've come in and done well, and he's someone who's trusted. I think Jason Malumbi, he's such a good end to the season he had at West Brom. He was adding goals to his game, as well as just being a real driving force in that West Brom midfield, but also in that Ireland midfield. I was thinking, was it the Latvia game? I'm thinking off the top of my head, where I think he was involved in two of the goals, but just by driving with the ball. I think he was definitely involved with the Evan Ferguson goal. I think he was the one that gave the ball out wide right, and started that attack. I'm pretty sure he was involved in two of the goals though, and just from being combative and winning the ball. And let's not forget, he also played in that Scotland game, that big Scotland win last year at the Aviva. And again, I talk about him kind of being integral. He was there. He broke up the play, which then led to Obafemi's screamer as well. I think he's been that kind of pit bull little terrier in the midfield that we've maybe been lacking with Hendrick. Now, I know he's not the most, how would you say, technically gifted on the ball. He's not going to pick out an unbelievable pass, but what he does give you is he'll win the ball and he'll drive with the ball and he'll get you quickly up the pitch. And I think that's something that Hendrick doesn't really do. Like, Hendrick can pick out a nice pass maybe in the last final third of the pitch, but I don't think that he does what Malumbi does. And I think Malumbi and Cullen really complement each other well. And then I think if you're going to put Jason Knight in there, again, it's another lad who's come in, who's done well. And he probably needs to put himself in the shop window to get himself out of Derby County, because it looks like he is going to move from there, but it depends on where. And if he has a good international window, I think a lot of clubs will come in and look at him. I think of the game was at Luxembourg, where he came off the bench and he changed the game. And I think he got the assist for Ogbene. And there's just times where Jason Knight's come in and he's helped change the game for us. And he's just got a nasty streak in him, which I love. He's not afraid to get a yellow card. He's not afraid to pull a player back and foul him if they're on the counter attack or whatever. He's just very clever, in my opinion. And yeah, he's although he's a young man, I think he's learned a lot from the likes of Wayne Rooney and stuff like that. And he has that little bit about him that you'll say, you know what, there's a reason why you start, and there's a reason why Stephen Kenny has a lot of faith in Jason Knight. And it's things like that. It's just being clever in and out of possession. And I think, as you mentioned about Ogbene, I don't think Jason Knight's had too many bad games in an Ireland shirt either. I think he's always performed whenever he's put the jersey on. So I think there are two players that we could look at, and Josh Cullen as a midfield three, if they go with that. I think that could be a really good midfield three to go with, and I think that provides energy, it provides bite, and then you've got the technical class of Josh Cullen as well. So you've kind of got a good mixture of all three there, and Knight can get a goal as well.
Yeah, no, I'd fully agree there with them points, especially particularly with obviously Josh Cullen now going to the Premier League. You have that kind of added now that he'll go up a level, starting from August, and that he'll be dealing with a lot more kind of talented players. I suppose and other players I noticed as well, particularly was two Norwich lads and Amabamidele and Ida. I think Adam Ida, it was really good to see him and his performance against France, because he was a man who obviously haunted by injuries, and that he was forced obviously out getting called up for us, but he wasn't getting a lot of minutes for Norwich, but he really did, I think, make a good impact. It was like a different player I saw on the pitch when he came on against France. He wasn't afraid to kind of just go at their defence. You're coming up against 2018 World Cup winners, and he wasn't shying away from a challenge. He wasn't afraid to take players on. He was feeding the ball out onto the wings when he could. So he was someone that did really shock me, and I think as much as maybe I wouldn't be putting him in the starting 11, maybe not just yet, but he is someone who definitely can come off the bench, put an impact in there too, and like he's someone that he's just giving us more options, because obviously we have Evan Ferguson, we have now Michael Obafemi. He's just adding, and I'd say he'd probably be giving Stephen Kenny a headache in terms of starting 11, probably in the next few camps, as I said, probably not just yet, but I think he's someone that, like, he really did take me by surprise, as I said, taking France on the way he did. And he didn't shy away from a challenge. And then obviously the other one was, there's a lot of attention around Amabamidele, captain for Norwich, and all the interest that's coming from him outside of England, even the Italian clubs AC Milan that were reportedly interested in him, and
He's not
he
in the
just seems like
squad
he's
though,
going from
so
strength to strength.
I think he's injured.
Yeah, obviously he's getting haunted by injuries as well, I suppose as well. But he's someone that I think going into the future of with the likes of, say, your Nathan Collins of the world, that he'll be able to just again giving Kenny a headache, and that's all it's all about. But I think it's looking good from the Norwich end of things, I suppose.
Yeah, I think with what you're saying is right though, but I think we don't need to worry about our centre backs. We're blessed in that regard, is that we actually have solid centre backs that you would really, think twice about. You'll obviously have John Egan in there. I'd say he'll be captain, and then I would think you would go with Darragh O'Shea and Nathan Collins. But Darrell Lenihan
Yeah,
is there as well, who's had a really good season again with Middlesbrough. He done well when he came in against Ukraine last year as well. But Darrell Lenihan was
yeah.
solid in that game, and he showed that he can play at this level. I would class Ukraine as a better opposition than Greece, but I do think that we're not going to have it easy against Greece. I do think they're going to be tough to play against, but you never know. Like, you could see us line up with a front two with Obafemi and Ferguson. All of a sudden you kind of think there's goals there, and we could actually trouble them.
So we definitely do have the goals. We have the talent there. There's no doubt about it. It's a matter of just putting it into practice, particularly away from home. Like we said, like as I said, I can go on about it again, but like we really did put it up to France, and they were 2018 world champions. Like, you can't deny that. We were putting up a team that had Mbappe in it. That said it all, and
World Cup
there's
finalists
no
as
reason
well,
why we can't go
Ryan.
into.
Don't forget that, like, they were a kick away. If Emi Martinez doesn't make that save from, I think it's Kolo Muani, and he misses the chance. If he scores that, they're champions. So that's how close they were to winning it.
Exactly, tipping it over the bar as well from getting a point against France. So like it really does that fills me with hope. We need to bring it to an away form. That's the major point, and we really do need to get like maximum points, as much as we can say. We can talk about these games, but like it really needs to be brought into the away form now. And like the talent is there. I said Ferguson, Obafemi, that's two really good strikers. You even have Troy Parra coming off the bench, and Adam Ida. Troy Parra, who has recently said that he's going to try fight for a spot as well at Tottenham now, with their new manager, who obviously came from Celtic, and him being a Celtic fan. So like there's the competition there, you have the talent there. There's no reason why we can't be putting at least maybe like even a 2-goal win, really. I don't think would be unrealistic looking at it now, but it will be really tough, and the nerves are building up here as I'm even just speaking of it to you.
Yeah, but I don't think we need to be that wary maybe of Greece as we kind of have been of other teams in the past. Like, I know when we played Ukraine, there was Zinchenko and there was Mudryk, and there was these types of players that we knew could harm us. I think this time around, Greece are a little bit like us, where they have a few decent players playing in the Premier League. Well, we don't have too many in the Premier League, but they've decent players playing around Europe. They've got Simicast, who doesn't really get a game for Liverpool because Andy Robertson is in there, and it's not that saying that he's a bad player or anything like that. It's just that
Yeah.
I was speaking with Stephen earlier from Footy Hellispod, and he was saying like it's just because Klopp tends to just trust his players when, you know, his boys, so to speak, when things aren't going well. So when Liverpool obviously aren't doing too well, he sticks with Robertson, and that's why Simicast hasn't played as much. And then they have there's a lad at Trabzonspor, and their captain, his name escapes me at the moment. He's their top scorer, but they have him in there as well. And I think he's someone we'll have to be wary of, because we always seem to let their like midfield or number 10, I think Spurzian of Armenia, as one, where we kind of got warned about him when we did an opposition preview, and he came back to haunt us twice. So I think those someone like that would be someone we need to watch out for.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's exactly it. Like we can't we can't take it with a pinch of salt. We can't underestimate the opposition. Personally, in my opinion, like I think it would be such an important 3 points as well going forward, because I do think if we were to get 3 points at Greece, I'd be confident to say that like it wouldn't be a straightforward result for France and Netherlands to get 3 points at Greece either. So that could potentially be points gained, in my opinion. I think that will be a tough place to go for them two teams as well.
Yeah. I think if we want to have any hopes of doing well, we're gonna have to need to get a big away win somewhere. Sorry, just on that player, his name is Bakasetas. Tassos
Yeah,
Bakasetas. He's 29 and he's
there you go.
55 caps and 11 goals for Greece, and he seems to have really shone under Gus Poyet. There is obviously their manager, another person who fans would know. And then up front, their kind of danger men are Vangelis Pavlidis, who's at AZ, and he has 6 goals in 29 appearances. And I think the lad Tassos Duvikas, he was saying he was top scorer in the Eredivisie, I think it was, with Utrecht, but he's only got 1 goal so far for the Greek national team. And then they've got Georgios Masouras, who is at Olympiacos. He's got 5 goals in 31 caps as well. So that, and then they've got Mantolos at AEK Athens. He's got 6 goals in 52 caps as well. So that's kind of an idea and a breakdown of their team. And they have George Baldock, who you might know from Sheffield United, who actually plays right back for them.
Yeah,
So there you go.
yeah, exactly. Like this is like there, and realistically, all them clubs that you mentioned there that they play for are like they're top of each of their leagues. So where it's not going to be an easy game by any means of the word. But as I said, I am confident we can get 3 points on what would be, I'd say, a massive 3 points. But as well as that, as you're naming them players, we have the defenders to be able to cope with that, I think, as well. The likes of your Matt Doherty, John Egan, your Nathan Collins, probably Darrell O'Shea in there too. Like, these are really good defenders that have been really good form.
I think
Obviously,
he'll go with Callum
Matt
O'Dowd.
Doherty and
I think he will. And the left,
hmm?
I mean. I think he'll go with O'Dowd on the left. Wing back.
Yeah, O'Dowd on the left as well. So, like, these are players that, whilst they might not be playing at the top league in the respective countries, but they're really talented. Like, once you see them on the pitch, you know what they can do. And even obviously Matt Doherty and Nathan Collins, who hadn't been getting selected too much as the season came to an end there, but we all know what they can do and what they've shown for us. So like I'd be confident going into the game and wary of Greece, but I do think like we have the defense definitely to be able to hold it. And as you said, letting their 10 roam or even the midfield, like it looks the future. I think at the moment now is looking bright. It looks like we're patching these issues up, and now it's just a matter of kind of just putting it into practice.
Yeah. Well, let's sign off with our predictions. I went earlier on with a 1-0 Evan Ferguson goal to win it for us. That's what I went with in our opposition preview, so I can't change now. What
Yeah.
about yourself?
I would say I'll go 2-1 to us. I'd say Obafemi will get one in there, and probably Evan Ferguson, the two front men.
Please God, a win would just be absolutely fantastic. If you're going to the game,
Be brilliant.
Sorry. If you are going to the game, enjoy yourself, be safe, and hopefully the boys in green do you justice. Or they might be the boys in white on the night. Who knows? But yeah, I think a win would be absolutely amazing, and I think it would get fans really buzzing, and I think it would get a good kind of buzz going for the Gibraltar game then as well on top of that. But let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think we can get the win? And if so, what score do you think it would be? And yeah, and your goal scores if you like as well. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video as well, as it helps the channel grows. And if you want these videos on podcast, you can check it out at IFF TV podcasts as well. Huge thanks to Ryan as always, and we will, I'm sure, see you soon.